Hello, young voters. I'm Sarah. This is Sylvia. And in honor of Earth Day, we're going to talk about the history of the United States' environmental acts. It is the 51st anniversary of Earth Day. The first Earth Day was on April 22nd in 1970, but the United States' interest in the environment began much earlier.
Yeah, so it kind of started with my three homies, Wilson, Grant, and Teddy Roosevelt. They were all super devoted to land conservation, which was pretty cool of them, considering their time. Grant created the first national park, Yellowstone, the one that might explode or
Might explode at some point.
just could.
That's fine. It
Yeah,
probably will.
nothing to worry about. And then Wilson created the National Park Service and then a handful of national parks and monuments. And then Teddy Roosevelt established 150 national forests, a ton of federal bird reserves and monuments and parks, and it all amounted to 230 million acres of land, which was crazy. Cool.
Intense.
Yeah.
However, the first act of legislation that protected the earth wasn't made until 1948 with the Federal Water Pollution Control Act. Then the first act to address air pollution was released in 1955. These two acts are so far away from the entire national park thing, which makes sense because after the Industrial Revolution and things started to pick up and populations boomed, but it's still kind of sad that it was so far away from them.
So in 1966, the first piece of legislation for endangered species was passed, and then the following year, in 1967, the first endangered species list was released. It included the grizzly bear, American alligator, Florida manatee, bald eagle, and more. And then that brings us right back to the 70s, which was a really, really big decade for environmental legislation because as more people became aware of the environment and concerned, the government decided to step in and introduce legal protection for both the planet and consumers.
The 70s were considered one of the most protest-filled decades in United States history. People were taking to the streets, fighting for civil rights, ending unnecessary wars, and saving the planet. With that, the government attempted to appease the American people by fixing a few of the issues that they were protesting, tending to focus on the environmental issues. Similar to now, governments were too racist and lazy and bigoted to actually change social issues, so they would try to appease the masses by changing environmental things.
Well, so in 1970, Nixon formed the National Environmental Policy Act, which made it mandatory for federal agencies to look at the environmental impact of actions before making a decision.
And the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, or the NOAA, is also formed in 1970 to monitor the oceans and prevent resources from being used in an unsuitable way.
Also during 1970, the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, which I think we reference a bit later, is formed, and its mission is to protect humans and the environment from any risks, enforce regulations, and work toward solving environmental problems.
A year later, the bottle bill was introduced in Oregon. For every bottle that is returned, people would receive a nickel. This improved the recycling rates of beer and soda bottles. The bottle bill expanded to other states later on.
And then in 1972, the pesticide DDT was banned by the EPA due to health concerns for the environment and humans. They believed that animals exposed to the chemical developed cancerous tumors, and it's now considered a probable human carcinogen. So that was good. Yay, government!
Yay, Gov! Also in 72, the Ocean Dumping Act was formed, which prevented dumping of anything that would harm human and ocean life. And then 2 years later in Missouri, the first curbside recycling was formed.
One of the most common bans of the 70s was of chlorofluorocarbons, or otherwise known as the aerosol product in hairspray. They're super harmful chemicals to the ozone layer.
The United States joined the Montreal Protocol only a month after its creation in 1987 to further the mission of phasing out the chemical of CFC, and was successful in doing so in 1996.
And then in 1992, the US and a bunch of other countries, to this day, began to enforce the Energy Star program, which identified energy and cost-efficient products. You might have seen the label on like washing machines and stuff at home.
And then a while later, in 2007, as e-waste became a growing problem, 5 states passed laws making it mandatory for electronics to be recycled instead of being thrown out in the garbage. And it wasn't until 2013 that a president would create a climate change plan. Barack Obama was the first to propose a reduction of carbon emissions in the United States. This was nullified by Donald Trump in 2017, but reinstated in 2020 by Joe Biden.
Go Joe!
Yo, Joe, doing something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like to give it to him, but anyways, our planet is on the brink of irreversible damage. When I was researching for this video, I actually found a 2020 study that determined that we'll likely cross the threshold for dangerous warming between 2027 and 2042, which is earlier than scientists have previously predicted. So that's concerning.
A little bit.
Slightly. In case you guys weren't aware, the effects that scientists predicted would occur because of global climate change are currently occurring, which includes the loss of sea ice, rising sea levels, and longer, more intense heat waves. And these effects will only worsen until our planet becomes inhabitable. So lots to look forward to.
Yay! Nice vacation, nice tanning weather.
Yeah.
One of the things about climate change is that many people are pinning it on, the everyday person, when in fact it's governments and businesses that, make up most carbon emissions.
So this is why we need sweeping legislation like the Green New Deal, which is a 10-year plan. It was introduced by Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Markey. The Green New Deal would mobilize every aspect of American society towards 100% clean and renewable energy.
What's awesome about the Green New Deal is that it's not only about the environment, it also means creating millions of jobs for people around America, securing clean air and water, and ensuring access to nature and repaying historic oppression of minorities.
And with Democratic control of Congress and the presidency, the Green New Deal was just reintroduced this Tuesday with some slight changes. They brought in the Green New Deal to include a proposal geared toward addressing pollution in low-income communities, and another one focused on cities with lead in their water supply. And it will be voted on in the near future, which is super cool.
It's so exciting. I hope it gets passed. There are a lot of doubts that it won't, but
Nico.
Nico, but it's fine because we have hope, and
yeah.
It's gonna get passed, and we're gonna save the planet, and everything's gonna be great. So yeah, I guess we'll leave you guys on that optimistic note for Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. Go hug a tree.
Yes. Kiss a flower.
Kiss a flower. Oh my God. I mean, like, there have been studies that being nice to plants make them grow better. So.
Is there an actual study on that?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a real thing.
That's cool. Let's look it up.
Yeah, go love yourself some nature. And we love you. And subscribe and like this video and go check out our pages if you want to. And yeah, love you, babes.
Oh my God, we did this in time!